Large language models can become remarkable and useful in co-creative applications as their ability to generate text improves. As illustrated in the explosion of various AI-based writing tools in the last few years, these models show promise as an augmentative tool for human writers. This includes automatic story generation, a research problem concerned with generating sequences of story elements that altogether try to tell a coherent narrative. In the domains of theater and film specifically, there are examples of creative uses of large language models. They include the generation of musical comedy lyrics, improvisational theater alongside chatbots, short film script generation, and script writing for theater plays. In all these works, audiences and critics are quick to point out the one unifying characteristic: that dialogue always seems to be absurd.
Language models trained on vast text datasets predict the next word based on prior context. Transformer-based models, while impressive, face limitations in applications like writing theater scripts and screenplays due to their limited context window sizes, resulting from high memory requirements. This constraint leads to inconsistent narratives and a loss of coherence in the generated text. This creates a unique glitch aesthetic, the uncanny valley of machine-assisted writing, where output appears almost human but with subtle, revealing imperfections. The quote, "A good writer creates unsettling prose by design, not by accident or failure of expression," captures the essence of this glitch aesthetic. Dramatron overcomes this issue using hierarchical generation, story arcs, prompt chaining, and interactive writing and rewriting techniques to move beyond the glitch aesthetic.
Although screenplay and theater script writing are both art forms and academic subjects of study with their own rich foundations, academic or computer-assisted story generation tools like Dramatron owe a great deal to the structuralist narratology and discourse analysis literatures. From Propst's structuralist analyses of Russian folk tales, to Labov and Waletsky's work on personal experience narrative, to Lakoff and Romo Hart's introduction of story grammars. This research suggests general but mutable structures present in storytelling processes across many linguistic and cultural traditions. However, narrative structure does vary across space, time, and cultural traditions in important ways. For example, Becker's work on text building reports that Javanese shadow theater plots cohere via spatial co-occurrence of characters from different eras on stage, and not from a chronicle ordering of events. The choice of narrative structure used in our paper is characteristically Western, and alternative story shapes are both possible and should be explored in future work.
Dramatron employs large language models for hierarchical story generation to create scripts and screenplays with enhanced coherence. This method involves multiple calls to a single language model, using material generated from previous calls to structure subsequent prompts, thereby maximizing the model's capacity and maintaining consistency. This hierarchical approach outperforms the flat, strictly sequential text generation in terms of a story's coherence. Starting with a log line or a short narrative summary, Dramatron interactively generates a title, character descriptions, plot points, location details, and dialogue. This process offers writers a rich foundation for compilation, editing, and rewriting. By chaining prompts, providing clear interactive processes for writers, and utilizing the model's capabilities to the fullest, Dramatron ensures a more consistent and coherent narrative, and the co-writing experience becomes engaging and dialogic as a process.
Dramatron was built and tested using Chinchilla, but can work with any large language model. We implemented Dramatron in Google Colab and designed it for interactive co-writing because we wanted to evaluate it as an augmentative tool for human writers. Co-authorship proceeds as follows. A writer starts with a log line that they have written. They input that log line and generate title, characters, plot outline, location descriptions, and scene dialogue step by step. At each step, the writer can take one or several operations, as many times as they wish, generate a new suggestion, continue generating from the end, and manually edit some or all of the generated output. With the tool ready, we decided to address the second question: are automated story generation tools like Dramatron useful to creative artists? So, we relied on expert evaluation with the help of 15 industry professionals, playwrights, screenwriters, directors, producers, actors who had had exposure to AI tools.
After conducting an expert user study, we followed up with a user survey to gauge participants' experiences with Dramatron. The survey prompted users to reflect on their interactive co-authorship session and to consider the future use of AI systems like Dramatron. 9 questions addressed ownership, pride, ease of use, expression, helpfulness, collaboration, uniqueness, enjoyment, and surprise. We used a Likert type scale ranging from 1, strongly disagree, to 5, strongly agree. A brief summary of the results revealed that participants responded more positively to questions about enjoyment and surprise than those related to ownership and pride in the output. Examining the collaboration aspect, we segmented results based on the primary experience of the experts. Notably, film and TV writers accustomed to writers' rooms found the script writing process with AI more collaborative than theater writing experts. This suggests that AI-driven tools like Dramatron can offer unique collaborative experiences depending on the user's professional background.
Qualitative evaluation further enabled us to reflect on the specific applicability of Dramatron. On the positive side, some participants liked how hierarchical generation allowed the writer to work on the narrative arc and to iterate between interactive editing or letting the system generate. Writers found that Dramatron could be used for word building, inspiration, or simply putting words on a page. Many of our participants also embrace the glitch aesthetic and the poetic absurdity of the outputs. On the negative side, some participants noted that the tool cannot write a complete story of its own due to logical gaps, lack of common sense, and of character motivation. They also found that Dramatron outputs often lacked nuance and subtext. Some participants noted that creating theater is not always a linear and story-driven process, and that since Dramatron is inherently more formulaic by construction, it may be more suitable to screenplays. Some participants were interested in going beyond the assumptions of Western dramaturgy embedded within Dramatron. Such comments and useful feedback collected during interviews over the course of a study emphasize the importance of involving domain experts at every step of the design and development process.
Dramatron co-wrote 4 scripts that were produced and staged at the Edmonton International Fringe Festival in August of 2022. Plays by Bots combined a creative team of professional improvisational artists and a professional theater writer and director alongside scripts that they co-wrote with Dramatron. Each performance comprised a scripted first half, followed by improvisation. Audiences and reviewers aware of Dramatron's involvement provided generally positive feedback. Reviewers specifically praised the human actors for expertly adopting Dramatron's voice and seamlessly transitioning to off-script improvisation, much to the delight of the enthralled audience. The creative team's reflections echoed this positivity. Many performers noted that some of the funniest moments arose from the discernible robot-made parts and that the audience was eager to hear the robot's voice. These evaluative comments highlight the value of both the human performers and the co-creative tools like Dramatron in the production process. It demonstrates the potential for successful collaboration between AI and human artists in the writing and staging of theater scripts.
Before conducting our study, we identified 3 directly relevant risks and ethical implications. First, bias and offensive language in the generated output. Second, the automation of creative work resulting in cannibalizing creative economies. And third, reusing copyrighted data from the training dataset, knowingly or unknowingly. Our mitigation strategy is twofold. We invite the creative human artist into the loop through the co-authorship process, and we maintain clarity and transparency on the origin of a generated text. Furthermore, the writer could query short parts of a script using a search engine and plagiarism detection tools. In follow-up work, biases and stereotypes could be systematically explored to assess what sorts of narratives can be written using such AI tools and how they perform for different cultural groups. In summary, Dramatron could be used as a co-creative writing tool. Our work invites further questions on the nature of co-creativity and on the ethics surrounding large language models.